They were the most gifted players of their generation. The whole world was waiting for them to become legends. And then, one by one, they simply disappeared. Some into a favela, one into a London taxi. And nobody fully understands why. Case 1. Adriano. It's the mid-2000s, and at Inter Milan there is a striker so powerful, so unstoppable, that they call him L'Imperatore, the Emperor. Adriano is a Brazilian phenomenon, a man Zlatan Ibrahimovic once said nobody on earth could take the ball from. He's seen as the natural heir to Ronaldo, top scorer at the Copa America, a goal machine carving up Serie A. And then, in 2004, comes a single phone call that destroys everything. Adriano is told his father, his hero, the man he played for, has died of a heart attack back in Brazil at just 44. Adriano later said he went from heaven to hell in 9 days. He fell into deep depression, started drinking heavily, sometimes turning up to training drunk while Inter covered it up by inventing injuries. And then the Emperor of Milan just vanished. He walked away from European football and disappeared back into Vila Cruzeiro, the dangerous Rio favela where he was born, blowing his fortune and slipping out of public view. When people asked how a superstar could just disappear into the slums, his answer was simple. He didn't disappear. He just went home. Case 2. Sebastian Deisler. It's the turn of the millennium, and German football has found its savior. Sebastian Deisler is so gifted that the legendary Franz Beckenbauer calls him the best player in Germany, technically and physically, and the national coach predicts he'll dominate for 10 years. The fans nickname him Basti Fantasti. Bayern Munich, the biggest club in the country, pay a fortune to sign him, expecting him to become the heartbeat of their team for a decade. But behind the hype, something is breaking. Deisler suffers injury after injury, 5 operations on one knee, and slowly sinks into a severe depression so deep he has to be treated in a clinic. He plays barely 60 league games in over 4 years. And then, in January 2007, at just 27 years old, in what should have been his prime, Deisler quits football entirely, saying he simply doesn't want the torture anymore. And here's the haunting part. After that, he didn't just retire. He vanished. He cut off the football world completely. Even his own former managers couldn't reach him, and years later, nobody even knew where he spent his 40th birthday. One of the greatest talents Germany ever produced chose to disappear into silence rather than be a footballer. Case 3. Nii Lamptey. It's 1991, at a youth world championship, and a teenager from Ghana is destroying every team in his path, outshining future stars like Del Piero and Verón. Watching from the stands is Pelé himself, who points at this boy and anoints him as his natural successor, the next Pelé. But Nii Lamptey's story is darker than anyone realized. Abused and beaten at home as a child, he is smuggled out of Ghana on a fake passport, posing as the son of another player, just to escape and chase his dream. Belgian giants Anderlecht change their own age rules just to play him, and he lights up Belgium and Holland with goals. And then, the brightest talent in the world begins to mysteriously unravel. Exploited by agents because he couldn't read or write, his career collapses after a disastrous move to England. He drifts through 11 clubs across 4 continents, his international career over by 21. He later loses 2 of his own children to a rare illness, and begins to wonder out loud if he's been cursed. A boy chosen by Pelé to inherit football itself, who instead vanished into a wandering nightmare. Case 4. Freddy Adu. It's 2004, in the United States, and a 14-year-old boy is about to become the most hyped footballer on the planet. Freddy Adu signs a professional contract before he's even old enough to drive, becoming the youngest American to ever sign a pro deal in any sport. Nike hands him $1 million contract. He's called the next Pelé, and to drive it home, the league films a TV advert where Adu stands shoulder to shoulder with the real Pelé, who compares him to Mozart. The whole world is told a legend has arrived before he's played a single professional minute. And that, it turned out, was the peak. The goals never came in the way everyone demanded. The pressure crushed him, and slowly, painfully, the next Pelé just faded away, bouncing between an astonishing 15 clubs in 9 different countries, drifting further and further down until he was playing in the Swedish 3rd division, then nowhere at all. The cruelest part? Adu himself once said, as a teenager, that he'd seen players get hyped up and then disappear, and he promised himself he'd never be one of them. Case 5. Sonny Pike. It's the 1990s in England, and the country believes it has found the new Maradona, and he's just a child. Sonny Pike is so dazzlingly talented as a young boy that his legs are insured for £1 million. The Dutch giants Ajax bring him over for a trial, and he becomes a TV celebrity, fronting adverts for McDonald's and Coca-Cola. People compare him to Maradona and George Best before he's even a teenager. Cameras follow his every move, and then this child star's entire world collapses. After a TV documentary scandal that wasn't what his family was promised, he's banned from playing, and the relentless pressure shatters him. His mental health spirals into a breakdown, and by the age of just 18, Sonny Pike walks away from football forever, having never played a single professional game. The boy whose legs were worth £1 million vanished completely, and today he quietly drives a black cab through the streets of London. 5 of the most gifted players the world has ever seen. 5 careers that should have ended with trophies and legends. Instead, they vanished into a favela, into silence, into obscurity, and into a London taxi, leaving behind the saddest question in football: what if?